Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Gonna have a crossout video for us today, guys. Now in today's video we are going to be going over energy weapons and why they are so meta in crossout. And basically the gist of the video is that there are an incredible amount of damage buffs for energy weapons in crossout at the moment. And that is a big reason why they are so meta. You couple that with the fact that a lot of energy weapons in the game, a lot of the meta ones are hit scan, basically means that you have very high damage, very easy to use weapons. And I figured we would demonstrate that in the best way possible by using this Aurora car. Now, for those who don't know what the Aurora is, basically it's a laser that heats up the enemy weapons. It's meant to be, or it has been historically in Crossout, a support weapon. Basically, you would run one Aurora with some other weapons, like a Reaper Aurora, for example, that's been popular throughout the years. And the Aurora doesn't do much damage, but it heats up whatever you're shooting for your Reapers to then do double damage when that thing is fully heated. So basically, it's meant as a support weapon, but because of all of the different damage buffs for energy weapons in the crossout at the moment, you have builds like this that are actually viable, or at least should be, because these can now be used as actual damage dealing weapons. Coupled with the fact that energy or no, a lot of energy weapons kept their hit scan, whereas a lot of machine guns and whatnot lost their hit scan, basically means that builds like this are now the new sort of new machine gun cars, because there's very little reason to run a machine gun-esque car like this when you have energy weapons in the game. So just to go over why this thing is so strong, or why energy weapons in general are so strong, firstly you have the photon. Now the photon gives anything that deals heating damage a 30% buff. A lot of energy weapons like the Aurora, the Athena, the Destructor, the Meta guns, they heat up the target that they're shooting, basically meaning that if you put it with a photon, they deal 30% extra damage. This is a huge buff, which is why you're seeing photon on pretty much everything these days, because it's just a flat 30% buff. You do not need to do anything to get it. You get it from the second you start to the second you finish, basically. No conditional, not it is non-conditional. So that's 30%. Then we've got the Hertz co-driver. Now the Hertz co-driver, when you drive a certain distance or drive a certain speed for 8 seconds, I believe it is, you get a 30% damage buff to enemy weapons, movement parts, and hardware. So that's an extra 30%. And finally, we have claws. Now, claws, again, they are driving dependent. When you drive a certain distance, you will get a 4% damage buff. And this is per claw wheel to maximum of 4. So you can get an extra 16% damage from having claw wheels on your build. Basically meaning that if you run a build like this, which has photon, hertz, and claw, you get 30% from the photon, 30% from the hertz, 16 from the claw. So you're doing an extra 76% damage, which is absolutely insane, damn near double damage. And the really disgusting thing is that because Hertz has a passive perk whereby it reduces the speed requirements and distance or travel and distance requirements by 20%. That means that it reduces its own perk of driving at 80% maximum speed, and it also reduces the claw perk. So you only have to drive a very small distance in a build like this to get the claw and the hertz perk. And the most overpowered thing is that both of these perks are stored until you deal damage. Basically meaning that you have a bar at the bottom of your screen. When you achieve that bar, the perk does not activate straight away. You keep it until you deal damage to an enemy, which is obviously when you need it. And it's just banked essentially for when you need it the most. And that's absolutely disgusting. It's probably the most overpowered part of the claw and the hurt perk, is that in a build like this, as you can see, you drive very short distances and then your perks or your damage perks are banked. So say if we're starting the game now, we start the match and we've got the photon we don't need to worry about. We've got 30% extra damage on the build right now. We drive forward, and as you can see by the circle at the bottom, we get claw perk. So right now, we've got a fully charged claw perk, even the wheels are sparking just to let us know, and we've got that red circle at the bottom. That means that we have now got 16% extra damage that is banked within the build that will activate once we start dealing damage to an enemy. So this build now has 146% damage, and as you can see by the 4 out of 8 at the bottom, we've also charged half of the Hertz perk. And we've only drove from there. So we keep on driving. We've got 4 out of 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we've got the Hurt perk, which is also banked along with the Claw, so it does not activate until we deal damage. So right now we've got the Photon, the Hurt, and the Claw, meaning that we've got 176 damage banked. If this build was on Destructors, for example, our first shot would probably deal 600 or 700 damage, or a ridiculous degree, just because of how easy it is to stack the Claw and the Hurt with a Photon. And it's kind of like, I couldn't think of a better way to show just how overtuned energy weapons are than running a Aurora build, which is meant as a support weapon to actually deal damage and like use it as like an actual damage dealer type of build. Because these Auroras, the only downside to the weapon, the Aurora weapon, is the fact that we don't deal much damage. But like I said, we've already stacked that by an additional 76%, so we don't need to worry about damage. This should have plenty. And the guns themselves are absolutely incredible to use because, firstly, they are hit scan. So we don't need to worry about leading shots or aiming too far, too low. We just point and click like it's Call of Duty or something. Any machine gun in the game these days is going to have a hard time without their hit scan, because naturally, once you remove hit scan from a weapon, you are going to miss more. It doesn't matter if you're the best or worst player in the game, your accuracy is going to be diminished, whereas Auroras have hit scan, so landing shots should be easy. Secondly, the Auroras have basically no spread, so we don't need to tap fire or anything like that. We can just hold down the trigger. Thirdly, the guns, the Aurora guns, take absolutely ages to overheat. They're really efficient with regards to their radiators and coolers and stuff like that, so that's really, really nice. And finally, the Auroras have surprisingly good range, far more range than you would expect. So this gun, or this build by here, should be better than practically any other machine gun in the game, and it's only a epic support weapon, or supposed to be an epic support weapon. So we'll jump into the games now, guys. There's 6 games of PvP just to see how good this thing is, but I have a very strong feeling that this thing will be very, very good, or far better than it actually should be. Okay, Auroras, let's go. Now, someone told me, like years and years ago, oh, by the way, it'll get to a point with energy weapons where you can actually run a full Aurora build and it not be terrible. I genuinely wouldn't believe them. We've also just, in this drive-in, we've already stacked up our Hurts and our Claw. Okay, I think I'm going to take the handbrake off. Change it with a scope. Don't really need the handbrake, to be honest. I'll keep a range anyway. But the scope's going to come in handy, I think. This is boring. Someone appear, Jesus Christ. Hello, mate. Jupiters. They will not be Jupiters for much longer. Yep, there we go. Yeah, any stripped. It's gonna be like. Ow. Where are you? There goes one Sharon. Oops, stop jumping about in pub. There goes 2 Sharons. Okay, yeah. The new, very capable, very good legendary score just gets stripped by Auroras. Oh my god. Oh wait. That was close. Right, well our first game was a little bit ridiculous. Just taking the guns of 2 players with very little effort. Hey, mate. Nice. What's that? Ajax with... Nah, yeah, that's good. I like it. Anyway. Yeah, so far this build, it just feels like a machine gun car. But just better than most machine gun cars. Take this stuff. Give me your stuff. Thank you. I don't know if that's a person or... Yes. We've almost taken out that cyclone. Oh, we stripped. Bloody hell. I'll hit with my teammate. Insane. I still cannot, my brain cannot get over the fact that it's Aurora's doing this. I guess everyone's dead. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, that's unfortunate. Whoa, 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 hey, whoa, 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 hey, 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 hey. He's on that, mate. I have an infinitely easier chance of landing my shots than you are on a Wretcher. Oop, hello, mate. What are you? I can just ignore your drones, I can tank them. And now I'll heat up your carbs for my teammates. Or I'll just kill myself. What the hell? Okay, third game. Yeah, when you think about it though, the fact that this has so many advantages over a machine gun car, I don't, like you'd never, it's no reason really to run a machine gun built on this setup when you've got Auroras and Destructors and stuff. There's so many advantages, you know, with the hit scan and the heating and everything else. All the damage buffs. I don't know what guns I'm looking for. Oh well, I didn't last take long. Another Aurora pet, okay. Wait, could you shoot his guns? Are there so many backshots and not take? Okay. Maybe it's going right. It's going right. Can't even shoot me. Don't want it. Here we go. See, heat his guns for our teammates out there. Weapons never really overheat. Oh, our teammates already took one. But yeah, why do our guns just don't overheat in this thing? It's ridiculous. There we go. Been well. Alright, game number 4 now I think it is. Yeah, I really can't get over how easy energy weapons are, how good they are, how they haven't been nerfed. Like, we've already stacked our claw and our hurts also, I can't stop noticing that. Like this build, for example, the Auroras aren't even that good. If you wanted like a sweaty, cheap build, I've already made a video on it, but to swap these Auroras for triggers, they're exact same power score. All you would need is the flywheel. So you're going to save yourself on 2 energy there, and you'd probably get like a cloak out of it as well. And then you just absolutely sorted. That guy's almost lost his gun. That guy's gone Odin. Yeah, that's why people run car jobs. Let's push this hover then, shall we? See how well we can do. What the hell even is that? Oh, you post up. And Midians coming off like they don't even exist. Any second now I will take your guns from you, sir. There goes 1, there goes 2, there goes 3. This gun just doesn't overheat. I could have gone away with 1 radiator on this thing actually, now that I think about it. What are you doing? Oh yeah, you're gonna kill us all with artillery. This is so dumb. Auroras aren't even meant to deal damage. They're meant to be a support weapon. Alright, we'll do a couple more then. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that energy weapons and Crossout need a bit of a nerf. Especially the hit scan ones. 10 out of 10. Because, like, on this build, like I said, we're doing 176% damage with the perks. And we don't even have, like, a Jackie or anything. Like, if we could get 3 of these weapons on a Jackie, we would get 191% damage. In fact, that just given me an idea. If we ran a Photon car but with Athenas on the setup instead, we could attach both of those Athenas to a Jackie, and then we get our 191% damage buff from the Jackie and the Photon and the Claw and the Hurts. 191% on Athenas. That is just stupid. This poor guy, like, suffering with non-hit scan, and me just walking in like it's Call of Duty. Okay. There's another guy stripped. He's got Auroras. Jesus Christ, one thing. Damn. Man, these things are really good against Fortunes. Okay, how many people have we stripped this time? 3? Oh, to be 4? 4 people. These are Auroras, man. Like, they're a support weapon. It's supposed to be. Okay, last game, man. Yeah, these hit scan energy weapons need a nerf. I think the Claw or the Hurts or something, because like Athenas and Destructors have basically dominated Battlefield Uranium since it came out, if I'm honest, you know. Like, there's been some big Triton metas recently, obviously, but that's just because they're Battle Pass item and they're disgusting. It dipped? Okay, I didn't think it would dip like that. Here we go. God, I love Finland. Who are you? Go away, please. I mean, you don't want to take squishy weapons up against an Aurora car. Yep, I don't blame it. What's this scribber guy go? Trying to stay out of cover, out of fire into it. Oh my god, what are you? Hey, it's you, straight on there. Minigun. Look at the range on this thing. Get over here. Now I'm heat into my teammates. Take up 1. And 2. I'm so sorry, this feels disgusting. Hit scan is king in Crossout. And there we go. These aren't even fused. Actually, no, the back one is fused, but I can't remember what it is. I think it was random rolled. Okay, and that is it for the Aurora Photon Claw build. As you guys can see, energy weapons in Crossout, especially hit scan ones, are incredibly powerful at the moment, to the point where you can run epic support weapons and they still do incredibly well. I think that either the Claw or the Hurts needs to be nerfed in some way, because not only do you get it incredibly easily, but the fact that the damage bonuses are banked for when you absolutely need them the most is incredibly powerful, in my opinion. I think that's a little bit too strong. But yeah, hopefully that illustrates my point. And yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will catch you for tomorrow's.